So, good evening, good evening, good evening. We are back again. The Real Talk podcast is back. Happy New Year to everybody. I hope you're all well. Hope you had a wonderful New Year's Eve. Hope you were as sloshed as I was. I spent the whole day yesterday recovering. No alcohol for me now for 6 months. I'm on the tea and I'm on the water until the 5th of June on my birthday. And the amount of people that don't think I can do it is hilarious. Yeah. So, yeah, it's going to be, when I've got a point to prove, I always prove it. So, no alcohol for me. Big up to Jez. What are you sipping, Jez? How was your New Year's?
Yeah, quiet. It's just the two of us. We just had a meal at home, had something to drink, didn't go mad. Yeah, it was nice. It was quiet. It was okay. And yeah, I have to say I did go a bit big Christmas Day, and I seriously suffered Boxing Day. I seriously suffered. I'm getting a bit too old for all this boozing, mate. But
Same.
I'm just getting a nice little glass of red wine. I'm taking it easy, and yeah, no, it was good. It's fun. It's fun.
Yeah, it's good. No, big up to you, mate. And Kenny, live and direct from his mansion. How are you, mate? How was your New Year?
It was all right. It was an Arsenal one. We obviously spent it not too far from where Jez was at the Brighton game, but I didn't attempt to get a ticket because I knew it was just too last minute anyway. But
there's a lot of empty seats, Kenny. There's a lot of empty seats.
That's oh my god! Now you tell me.
It was, yeah.
It was the time of kickoff on the day of the kickoff. Like what idiot decided to put that game on at R5 on New Year's Eve needs to be sacked.
Sky Sports.
There you go. They dictate everything, don't they? But it is what it is. But make sure you smash the likes up, people. Subscribe to JEZ'S channel and Kenny's Insta. Both links in the description. Very quickly, subscribe to my second channel as well. That's in the description. Get the watch time up on that. It's not even halfway. And I'm still fuming about it, the fact that they demonetized it for inactivity. So if you could go and binge watch all the vlogs that are on there on repeat over the coming days, that'd be great. Also, tomorrow, I've got a transfer video dropping later tonight. I've got one at 8 o'clock in the morning. And then tomorrow, I'm on with Rants on here. I'm on with Terry on his show. And then you've got a match day because Arsenal play Newcastle tomorrow. So flat out tomorrow, I'm going to be knackered, but it is what it is. But Jez, let's start with you, mate. You was at the game. Great game to go to, mate, as well. It was brilliant, wasn't it? Loads of drama, closer than it probably should have been. And VAR did its job, ruled off the third goal, and it was literally tiny amount offside, but it was offside. But we see some great goals, some great performances. Martin Odegaard's pass on that half volley, what a pass. He was superb again, mate. He's been absolutely quality, especially the last two games. But even going back before the break for the World Cup, the 7 or 8, 9 games before that, he's been brilliant. Yeah, and he's making me eat my words, that's for sure, which is great because that's what I want. And if he's playing well, we're playing well by the looks of it. But what did you make of it, mate?
It's a great game. It was a brilliant game. The fact it was the first time I've ever taken my grandson to a football match. And he loved it, and it was an awesome day out. Sadly, the weather was awful, same as last year. It was blustering, it was blowing a hoolie. Yeah, it was horrible, but the game was awesome. I'll tell you what, that Odegaard, I was really watching a lot of him on the day, and that guy's work rate off the ball is almost as good as when he's on the ball. And the one thing that impressed me watching him was the amount of talking he was doing to the players when he didn't have the ball. Now, this is something new. Or maybe it's not that I haven't recognised. Kenny, you go to a lot more games than I do nowadays, so you probably know this a lot more than I do. He was awesome, absolutely awesome, and I think he's going to be a real gem, that player. Yeah, I know we said when he first came, this guy's crap and he's rubbish and why have we got him and all that. But yeah, I loved it. It was a great Nketiah, I thought, played very well. The one thing I noticed, once Partey went off, our midfield was completely different. He again was awesome. And it says to me, him and Odegaard have got a great working relationship. bit like back in time when we had Vieira and all that crew. And I'm not saying they're as good as that, but they certainly work well together. And it was an awesome appearance. Awesome again. I mean, the defence was good. Ramsdale was solid. And yeah, the second half we got a little bit lazy when the substitutions came on, and that did change the game and let Brighton back in. But I have to say, Saka's goal, I missed it. I was talking to a bloke behind me like that, and all of a sudden the Arsenal faithful have gone berserk, and I'm like, who scored? And this fella goes to me, your bloke Saka. And I went, shit, I missed it. And I didn't see it until I got home on Match of the Day. So, yeah, that was a bit annoying. But, yeah, I mean, you don't expect Arsenal to score in 1 minute, 5 seconds. Let's be fair. And it was an absolutely brilliant day out. Loved it.
No, it's good, man. There's a lesson to be learned there, Jez. Don't be talking to the guy behind you in the first minute.
Yeah, I was like this.
Mate, we were quality. We could have been 2 or 3-0 up inside 10 minutes. It was like watching Arsenal back in the Invincible era.
Yeah, it was.
Like, just go and blitz a team quick. But when we didn't get that second goal, I was sitting there thinking we've played so well. Do not let this lot back in it. And then, bang, Odegaard scores. And we're like, okay, cool. Then we go 3-0 up quick in the second half. We're like, right, well, that's that then. We could all get the cigars out now and enjoy New Year's Eve. And it was just madness, wasn't it? It was crazy. But it was a good game for a neutral, but it was even a good game for an Arsenal fan. Let's be real. Even though when it got back to 4-3 and they chalked it out, we're thinking, you know what? I think if that goal had stood, I wouldn't be surprised if they equalised, because we were a little bit rattled at that point, a little bit all over the place. Saliba didn't have a good game at all. And it's weird because Saliba started the season off really well, and it was Gabriel Magalhaes that was making mistakes. Now it's like the other way round. And it's almost like Gabriel's pulling him out the crap now. It's like he's caught the bozo gene and he had it before. It's like when we get them both playing great, then we're going to be unstoppable. Do you know what I mean? But Kenny, what did you make of it, mate?
No, as I said before, we've come out of chats pretty quickly, and I always say that when we score first, we kill teams. Teams find it very difficult to come back in the game, and despite the scoreline, I think the scoreline kind of flattered Brighton, because I thought we were comfortable until when we were about 3-0 up. I thought it was ultra comfortable, and then obviously I think the thing we talked about in our fan cam about not having a big squad and about sort of like time management and player management. That just shows why we do need a big squad, because sometimes if Arteta wants to rotate, he can have fresh players, because what he did in that game to me seems like you're right. We played West Ham on a Monday, then we got Brighton, then we got Newcastle. So in terms of it's a part of the 3 games in a week, and he's thinking that his squad needs to be freshened up. So that's why he made the changes. But the football we play was unbelievable. Odegaard is playing the best football of his career at the moment, and akin to when he was on loan, when he was playing in La Liga, when he was playing when he was on loan for Real Madrid, when he was playing good football as well. I think this is probably his most consistent, season as a footballer. And Thomas Partey, I'm never ever going to sort of undervalue his presence in the team, and he's actually better than being a DM. He's much more than that, and a lot better than that. But we needed him to be a DM, and he was fantastic. 1 tackles, wonders. Like I said, robbed Lamptey, and got in his face. Same with Odegaard, and I think he gave us a platform to play our best football. The question Arsenal fans need to ask themselves is that if Partey's not on the field, is Odegaard able to dictate and control games? I don't want to find that, but we kind of got an inkling last season, when we failed to get in the top 4, how much a missed Partey is. So very, accolade you're rightly going to give Odegaard. You've got to give him the Partey as well, because sometimes you have to earn the right to play, and he's a much more vital player than Granit Xhaka. Granit Xhaka's getting the Emma Awards alongside Odegaard, but without Partey, those two don't play. Serious. He is the team. And special props also goes to Eddie Nketiah. Just stay in the box. You're going to get chances. He scored them. Good luck. Well done to the lad. But, you know, Saka as well, another player is vital to us. Absolutely vital. You know, got to keep him as fit as we can. And he's basically, there's about a few players who we can't afford to be without. One of them's Saka, one of them's Partey, and probably another one would probably be Odegaard. Those are the three vitals of the team. I think, and I say this respectfully, if you lose Xhaka, you lose Martinelli, you feel it because they're playing really well. But those three players got to keep. They're the key to us doing some nice things this season, and you know, having a sustained and successful challenge for this title. Those are the three key players for me.
100%. And just talking about Saka very quickly, he is on 4 bookings. So if he gets booked in the Newcastle game, then I think he misses the cup game against Oxford. Am I right in saying that?
Yeah.
Yes.
Saliba and him 100% get him booked against Newcastle tomorrow, because there's no way that they're not going to get booked. Yeah, and then go into the Tottenham game, get booked and miss Man United. So if Ivan Toney's out there, yeah, get your money on 2 bookings tomorrow, mate. Get your money on 2 bookings tomorrow, because if we do, you're right, absolutely spot on about Saka. He's playing brilliant at the minute, mate. He is absolutely flying. Like, he just seems to, I don't know, just always in the right place at the right time at the moment. And you know, the other side, Martinelli, I know he got his goal, and I'll tell you something, I think people now realise how quick Martinelli is. Yeah, because Tariq Lamptey is no slouch, and he left him for dead on that goal, literally, and he started from behind him as well. So yeah, I think you're right. Martinelli is not in as good a form as Saka, but the fact that they've all scored 7 goals this season, Odegaard, what's his name, Saka and Martinelli, I think they're all on 7 this season. I think, maybe I'm lying, maybe Martinelli's on less, but they're all chipping in, and this is the difference between us and City. I've watched a lot of City this season. And if Erling Haaland don't score, they look lost for ideas, mate. They really do. Yeah, and it's all well and good he's scoring all the goals, but imagine he bags 40 goals and don't win the league. Like, exactly. Because they've completely changed their style now, and they've become, I wouldn't say predictable. I'm not trying to get too ahead of myself, because there's still a long way to go. But when you watch him now, it is literally just lump it into him or get him in behind, and teams are sussing that out. I know he's scored in pretty much every game he's played, but teams are sussing it out a little bit more and just nullifying that threat from Mahrez and from Grealish and from Foden, you know. So yeah, I'm kind of happy right now, man.
You know about City, sorry, Kate, but you know about City, you've got to remember one thing is that they kind of made him the focal point of the side, because in terms of like their anything after plan A and plan B, well, they sold Sterling to Chelsea and they sold JEZ'S to us. So in that respect, in terms of like the artillery come off the bench or alternatives to start in terms of getting goals from other areas of the team, he has to, you know, they have to make him the main man, because other players who could have and were chipping in goals for him, they sold. So, you know, good luck, City. I've got no complaints whatsoever. But, you know, as you say, 22 games left, too much football left, mate, to even contemplate the end.
And that's the thing. Like, if Man City beat us twice, then it's only 1 point. And that is how fine the margin is. Like, if we can go into that Man City game next month 10, 12 points ahead of them, then I wouldn't say it doesn't matter if we lose, because it always matters if we lose, but it doesn't matter so much. Yeah, and we've seen after a Manchester United loss this season that we bounced straight back. So as long as we don't end up on the back of a hiding against Man City, then I think we'll bounce back again if we lost to them. I don't really see where... you look at Tottenham, right? We got Newcastle next. I think we'll beat Newcastle. Their record, we'll come to that in a bit, but their record in London is shocking, and especially against us. Then we go away to Tottenham. They're in free fall. Like that club look lost for ideas. It looks like the manager don't want to be there. It looks like half the players don't want to be there. Like, it's almost like they're being held against their will, half of them. Do you know what I mean? Then he's got players on the bench that he don't want to play. Then they've got injured players. 3 of their attackers are out injured. Like, Son and Kane just look like they can't be asked. So I think we could beat them as well. And that would be the first time in, 9 years, I think it is? 9 years since we've beaten them at their ground? Then that takes us into Man United, and that would be a cracking game, because they're playing really well at the minute. I know it was a bore fest against Wolves the other day, but they're still playing good football. And if we can come out of this run at the end of this month without losing any of them games and even winning them all, then that's another month chalked off. Yeah, then you go into February and that's another month chalked off. Like, and all of a sudden it gets to March, April, and you're thinking, oh, this might happen. Like right now, it is still a little bit too early, but I'm loving life at the minute. I know you guys and everyone in the chat is as well. But we just got to keep it going, and we need to go and sign some players, man. Right? We need players that can just slot straight in. That if Odegaard does get injured, then somebody like Felix can step in. And people will sit there and laugh and say, no, yeah, what, you're going to sign Felix sitting on the bench? There's a lot of football to play. And like, you know, yes, we've still got Fabio Vieira. I'm still not convinced by him yet. You know, I'm still not convinced that. And if you said it right a minute ago, if we lose Odegaard right now, is Fabio Vieira going to come in and put that level of performance in he's done in the last 10 weeks? I don't think so. You know, so instantly we're worse. If Thomas Partey went off the other day, instantly we were worse soon as El Neni came on. And it's like that is a position that worries me, that midfield position, because if he gets injured, Partey, and touch wood, he don't, then we're massively, massively hindered. And the only game we have lost this season, by the way, was when he didn't play. That was the only game we've lost this season. So we need to go and buy some players. But listen, big up to 500 people watching live, man. Big up. Make sure you smash the likes up and subscribe to all the channels. Kenny's Insta and JEZ'S channel are in the description as well. But yeah, let's move on to that Newcastle game, JEZ'S. They drew 0-0 at home to Leeds, which I don't think anyone really see coming. I didn't see it. I thought it'd spank them, but they didn't. And we've got them at home. Our record against them is pretty much flawless. Like, we beat them every year. And I know there's train strikes, tube strikes, and everything. The Geordies probably left yesterday walking down the A1 to London or something, because there's no way they're not getting there. So, what do you make of that game tomorrow, mate?
It's going to be a grinder. Let's get it right. It's going to be tough. I'm going 2-0 Arsenal. I think, our record against Newcastle is what it is, and I think if Arteta gets it right, which at the moment we have to say he is, then I can see I'm going a positive 2-0. Yeah, okay, Newcastle currently have got the best defence in the league for goals conceded, and it's going to be a tough game. But at the Emirates, under the floodlights, there's going to be a massive crowd there tomorrow night, and I'm fancying it. I've got a feeling about it, and Kenny, you'll be there, I dare say. So
yes.
I wish I would be there with you, but unfortunately I can't get a ticket. There's no way I can get there anyway because of the trains. But I'm all positive for it. Certainly am. Our midfield at the moment, the way it's playing, I think we can control Newcastle, and the way Saka and Ketchup, fair play to him. He played very well against Brighton, and no disrespect to Brighton, but Newcastle at this point in time are a different level of competition. So, I'm going 2-0.
What about you, Kenny? You're obviously going to be there. I hope you wrap up warm, mate, because judging by English weather, it's going to be freezing and probably raining.
I'll be wrapped up. I've got my I've got my super dry, heavy super dry jacket, plus those gloves you like. That leaves me enough space to text. So I'm definitely going to be there. But it's a game that I'm very much looking forward to, because I think this is the sort of it kind of exemplifies, or legitimizes the one game at a time sort of philosophy that we need to take. Because you think about it, is that we Brighton's a bit of a bogey side for us, especially at their ground and even in general, and we passed that test excellently. And Newcastle a massive test because they're playing some fantastic football. They're very difficult to beat, and they've got semblance of a very, very good team, and they're high up in the table on merit. They haven't been beaten by it since August. I know there's a pork chop called Paul Reed. He says I've got my stats wrong. Well, Paul, you pork chop. I haven't. Newcastle haven't lost since in the league since they were beaten fortuitously by Liverpool, and they haven't beaten us at our grounds, the Emirates, since 2010, because I was there, Paul. So how about going away, You're not getting the barbie. You're going in straight in the freezer, and you can stay there for all I care anyway. But anyway, back to important things. The thing is with Newcastle is that as a team, the only kind of weakness they may have is probably like I said, not maybe I would say if they lose like I said, Guimaraes at that team, then they're not going to have that kind of creativity. But they got some of the players are smacking form. You know what I mean? There's one player I don't recognise. You know what I mean? He's he's been playing. He even scores goals these days. You know what I mean? What's his? He's Paraguayan. What's that?
Joel Linton, you on about?
Oh, no, not Joel Linton. Well,
Almiron.
Almiron. Yeah, Almiron. He's playing some fantastic stuff. I mean, he's not
his
just.
Goal the other night, by the way, was quality. Did you see it?
I know, but he's in a form of his life, and the thing is that he seems to have gained that extra yard of pace as well, which is getting him into those positions. So, if Shevchenko's playing, or no, sorry, Shevchenko or Tierney, they got to be careful, because one of the things is that by playing Shevchenko against Newcastle in that position, we're basically saying we need to be dominant on that ball. So if we're trying to be dominant on that ball, then what's happening is that when we do lose possession, Zinchenko needs to be careful, because he may leave a lot of space, and he's going to drag Gabriel out of that centre half position to try and cover the space that Zinchenko leaves, because Almiron is going to be attacking that space, in terms of because that kind of is his attacking area. So that's fascinating, something to really look at. Guimaraes as well. I'm looking forward to see how Partey deals with him. But you know what? Teams are scared of us now. I'm not saying Newcastle are going to put men behind the ball, because they're playing with a lot of confidence, and they're going to come, to spoil the party, but they'll be organised. They will try and nick something, but if they can't beat us, they'll be happy with a point. So again, that's a battle that that we're going to have to look forward to, and it's a puzzle that we need to sort of fix. But you know what I think? If we don't score early, then we're the kind of team that will score late on, because we keep on going. So that's something I'm really looking forward to. The fact that we don't give in. We always have some kind of ideas, and we've now got quality to come off within the team. So can't wait to that game.
Yeah, same, man. Big up all the Geordies in the chat as well. There's loads of Geordies that follow this channel. I just want to clear a couple of comments up real quick as well. Yeah, there's somebody in this chat, I can't find it right now, said, when are you going to apologise to Arteta? There it is. When am I going to apologise for what? Let me just tell you one thing, Will, yeah? Right? Whilst you lot were all sat there knocking one out over finishing 5th and 8th, yeah, us three and a lot of these people in the chat and many, many other Arsenal fans on social media with channels or Twitter accounts or Facebook accounts were sitting there saying it ain't good enough. The standards are not to finish 5th, 8th and 8th. Yeah, so what should I apologise for? My standards was to compete for a title. Hence why me and this man you see in his plush house with his piano were marching outside the stadium, holding up banners, trying to get a previous manager out for finishing 2nd to Leicester. Yeah. So let's just turn it in with this. Oh, you need to apologise. He ain't won fuck all yet, mate. So slow down. Yeah, and then there was another one that I want to clear up as well. Saying, where is it? I can't find it. Saying something about Lee starting to rate Odegaard. Let me tell you something, right? I've seen a lot of this as well. What happened to Gibraltar? Well, mate, when I called him Gibraltar, he was playing like an idiot. What's your point? This season, he's starting to score goals. He's shooting more, and he's actually dictating football matches. When I slagged him off and was slagging him off, it's consistently due to poor performances. Yeah, the same with Granit Xhaka. And people are going, oh, yeah, Granit Xhaka. Yeah, Granit Xhaka's having a great season. It don't write off 7 before that. Fantastic. I'll enjoy it. I'll accept it. Cool. But let's not just give players a pass because they're having a good 15 games or 16 games. Yeah, we've seen this all too many times, right? And people want to sit there and be so reactionary with it. We based 8th and 5th. 8th and 5th is not good enough for Arsenal Football Club. And when he came in and took the job, people were saying, oh, but what was he supposed to do? He inherited Dross. They're the same people that are bigging him up and give him extra time because he won an FA Cup with that said Dross. So you can't have your cake and eat it, people. Yeah, now we're doing great, which not one Arsenal fan on this planet expected us to be top of the table at this stage. 7 points clear now. Not a single Arsenal fan on the planet would have believed if you had said that at the start of the season, that's what would happen. So let's not all try and reinvent the wheel here, mate. 8th ain't good enough for Arsenal twice. 5th ain't good enough for Arsenal at all either. Now we're top. We're enjoying it. We're praising where it's due. We're not just giving praise for the sake of giving praise. Yeah, that's not what we do on here. That's why it's called the Real Talk podcast, mate, not the fucking Disney-esque talk podcast. So I hope that clears that up. One other thing I want to say very quickly as well is about the ruling for the bookings. A lot of people are chucking the laws of the game in. If them players do get booked, Saka or Saliba, it doesn't carry over into the FA Cup.
Oh,
If it's a red card in one of them competitions, it carries over. So yeah, the yellow card for Saka, if Saka or Saliba get booked against Newcastle, it doesn't carry over. They'd missed the Tottenham game.
Oof.
So we need to fingers crossed that Saliba don't do a madness, which leads me on perfectly actually. What do you put while I go and get a bottle of water, Jez? What do you put Saliba's shoddy form down to? Because he's been a bit poor in the last couple of games. Lunged in the West Ham game and gave a penalty away. Done a stupidness the other day and let them in to score. And he's been out of position so many times. Like how many times have I said on watch-alongs, people, yeah, why is he on Gabriel's side? Like if you look at the penalty against West Ham, why was he all the way over there? If you look at in the game the other night against Brighton, he was all the way. I'm like, why are you running out from your area of the pitch? Yes, I understand, read the game, cover for your mate and that, but he's doing it a little bit too much for me. And listen, I'll keep it exactly the same as I did with Gabriel. That ain't good enough right now. Yeah, and if he carries on like that, he is going to cost us. Because it's great while we're scoring loads of goals, but we're going to come up against the best defence in the league tomorrow in a team that are full of confidence, that have gone from relegation to third in the table real quick. That is not easy, whether we slap him at home or not every year. If he does a stupidness tomorrow and that's a tight game, that could end up costing us 3 points. What do you make of it, mate? What do you put it down to while I grab some water?
I don't think he's been great since he's come back from the World Cup. I don't know if that's affected him. I don't know. I don't get it. He's been, before he went away to the World Cup, I thought he was absolute class. He's come back and he looks way off the pace. And I don't know. I can't give you a reason why. And it is a concern what is going on. Is it pure frustration? I don't know. It just worries me with a big game tomorrow night. And it's very interesting that I'm sat here talking to myself saying Arsenal Newcastle's a big game, because it is to me it's a huge game tomorrow night. It's a game. That is a game changing game of football for the season for us. I don't know the answer, Lee. But to me, he's come back from that World Cup and he seems to have, I don't know, different mindset. Is it because of Deschamps at the World Cup said something else to him and he's brought that back with him? I really don't know. It is a concern. And I hope Arteta takes it on board, gets him back to where he was before he went to the World Cup, when he was absolute class. And I'm led to believe we've triggered his contract extension or something like that.
I thought he had more than 6 months left on his original contract. I thought he had 18 months. He only had 6.
Yeah, I didn't know. I don't really get into all of that, be honest. Yeah, so it's a concern to me. I hope Mikel will sort that out. He's had a chat with him and said, look, you need to get back to where you were. I don't think it's anything to do with fitness. I don't think it's anything like that. I just think he's lost his direction a little bit and he needs to get that back. So hopefully he will get that back and he will stop doing the stupid errors that he has been doing.
What about you, Kenny?
Well, the thing is that he's getting the basics wrong. He's getting the basics wrong. And I think, that is down to rustiness, come back from the World Cup. Like, 2 things you don't want your defenders doing is getting on the wrong side and, letting the ball bounce. You know, there's loads of things that's something he wasn't doing when he got in the team. He was on the right side, and he weren't letting the ball bounce. He was attacking the ball and getting rid of it and playing when he needs to play. But I think, you know, he's one of those things where when you're out of form, which he is because of for inactivity, he thinks his pace is going to get you out of trouble. It doesn't work like that. You can't in modern football. You can't start on the back foot, no matter how quick you are. Look at Lamptey. We know he's quicker than Martinelli. We know that because
I
because
wouldn't
of
be so sure of that. Martinelli's rapid, mate.
no, but the quality of ball. Come on, that quality of the ball. Because you know when the ball comes in, he's what Lamptey did
They were
wrong.
facing opposite ways. He's facing the play, and he was facing.
When the ball comes in, Lamptey is the one who's on the back foot because he has to try and attack the ball. If the ball comes past him, even if you know, I said Martinelli's behind him, Martinelli's always going to be afraid for it because he's on that right side because the pass was really that great. And I think that's the thing. Like defenders who've got a lot of pace and strong win ability, they think their pace is always going to get them in trouble. But when you get quality balls, which, you know, like Lamptey got and, you know, Saka got against West Ham, obviously on it's Brighton as well. You have to be on the right side. He's on the wrong side. And I think that, you know, that is probably, you know, the fact that, you know, he hasn't played because, you know, first choice of France. He only played one game, isn't it? What's it? The dead brother game. Minutes. Tunisia. He played against Tunisia.
Mate, Salt Bay was on the pitch longer than him.
Yeah. It's not bad. Salt Bay, but yeah, he's only played really Tunisia, so he hasn't played continuous football. And as we saw this season, we saw last season with him in France. When he plays regularly, that's when you see the best of him. But when he's not playing regularly, then, you know, a little bit of mistakes creep in, and they have with us.
I think it might be the fact that he didn't play so much because he was purring along nicely, and then he's just sat on the bench, isn't it? I think it could be that. It might be the heartbreak of losing the final. Mate, it could be a load of reasons. It could just be that. I was shocked to see him start. I can't lie. I was shocked to see him play in the two games, especially the West Ham game, because he'd only been back in training for a couple of days. But obviously, he'd been training with France. But maybe it's the fact that they lost the World Cup. Maybe he's took a hit with that. I don't know. But I don't know. It is weird because he's normally a lot better than that, and he needs to step back up again because that last 25 minutes of that game the other night, that was shocking defending, and it was poor. And we've got to. And we could see at the end of the game, I said this in the fan cams, like we could see at the end of the game, Arteta was fuming. Like he went and celebrated with the crowd and all of that at the end, and like, thanks for your support for the last 12 months and this and that. Yeah, and he grabbed hold of Eddie and gave him a hug and that, but you could tell in his face he was seething. So I'm hoping he's gone in and given him a verbal one, and hopefully they come out flying against Newcastle because we're gonna have to defend better than that, mate.
It's a risk, though. It's a risk that Arteta took. And that's not criticising him because he knows his players. He feels they're not fresh and he needs to save them because of the fact that the games are coming quick and fast with the FA Cup and the big, you know, not just big games, big emotional games. You know, Man United at home and Tottenham away. You know, mentally he wants and physically he wants to keep them fresh. But the thing is, if you make the amount of changes as Mikel made, then you are going to see sloppiness. You know. Because you know some substitutes, and not all substitutes like Solskjaer, who study the game. You know, some substitutes you see them like having a, you know, throwing chew gum at each other, having a little bit of a joke, or you know, having a laugh, and they're not watching the game, not concentrating. So they come on and they're having to sort of, you know, get to the pace of the game. You know, because remember, you think about it, Saliba and Gabriel stayed on the pitch, but remember you had Tierney coming on, then you had. Tomiyasu coming on, and then you had Elneny coming. Now I'm not blaming them, but they're not.
I'm just going to dig Tomiyasu out here. He was appalling when he came on.
Yeah, but
do you remember Nuno Tavares against Liverpool when he came on against Liverpool? The game just swung. That was Tommy in that game. He was shocking, mate. Yeah, and if you look on one of their goals, I think it was the second goal. Well, no, I think it might have been the one that was ruled off. Actually, it might have been the third one. He literally just run around in a circle. It was literally like just running around. So what's he doing? What is he doing? And listen, Ben White didn't have a good game at all, which is the first time he's not had a good game for a while. But this is why I keep saying to people about Tomiyasu, he ain't all that. Yeah, he's solid in certain games and he'll do a job in certain games. But you can't rely on that guy to keep the standards high, because he ain't that good, in my opinion. He's all right, but listen, anything looked better than Bellerin, didn't it? Let's be honest.
True.
The quality's got better, but I think what's happening is that, risk and reward. When you make that amount of changes, when you fit the game, when you're comfortable, especially when you make those changes with the amount of time. He made those changes about, was it 25 minutes ago?
Yeah,
that's enough time for Brighton to get a bit of confidence, get another goal. That thinks, right, you know what? With the amount of injury time that they give nowadays, obviously consequence of the World Cup, maybe caught in the World Cup. I mean, anything can happen. Look at City. How many injury time do they have?
11 minutes.
30 minutes.
30 minutes. I actually like that though, because that means that if you want a time waste, we're going to add it on. Yeah, and like that has slowly stopped players time wasting and taking the piss. Because if you actually look at the average time a ball is in the game and in play, it's probably not even 45 minutes. Yeah, like every time there's a free kick outside the box around the D or somewhere, that wastes a minute of the game straight away. Yeah, and then you've got these idiots laying down on posing like this behind the wall. It's like, get up. Whoever started that, seriously, that is one of the stupidest things I've ever seen. How many players actually statistically score before all of this started underneath the wall? Come on, it's probably 0.0001%. Yeah, and but now if you stop doing it, people start scoring under. It's ridiculous.
Can I just say about Ben White the other night? I don't know. I know he's a professional footballer and all that, but he was getting some serious abuse from the Brighton fans. Serious abuse.
Wow.
Whether that affected him, I don't know. It could do. I know he's a seasoned professional, and it shouldn't get inside your head. But being back at Brighton, maybe it did. I don't know. But I don't think he was that bad. He wasn't as good as he has been recently. But I would cut him a bit of license, because he was getting some serious shit. Seriously, honestly. So
that's a bit weird to me. I'd get that much stick from Brighton fans.
He was getting some serious.
It's not like he was doing anything he shouldn't be. Arsenal bid for him and he went. Well, what's the issue?
I don't know. I think
weird, man.
The funny thing is, when I went last year, when we had him, people were saying, like, the guys I was sat with behind, and we were right behind the dugouts, 5 rows back, and people were saying, thank you for taking him. Thank you for taking him. And we're like, well, and then the other night he was getting loads of crap. Maybe because they could see that he's actually improved. I don't know. Football's a funny thing, Lee. Football's a funny thing.
It's a bit weird. Like, I remember when I think it was a Danish journalist. He was being rude to the Danish journalist and just being an idiot. Yeah, after a game a couple of months back. And somebody put that out on Twitter, and all of the comments were Leeds United and Brighton fans saying, look at his attitude. It stinks since he's left our clubs. Maybe it's that. Maybe he thinks his shit don't stink now. I don't know. I don't know, but it is what it is. But
the thing is, Brighton do try to get the ball forward, and they do put us under a bit of pressure. It's credit to Brighton that he probably didn't have the game that he normally has. You know what I mean? But it's saying that it's about Ben White. Sometimes, man, if you get absolutely hammered by the team you just left, that that's normal now, isn't it? If where fans don't appreciate players who leave their clubs and goes on to better things, they're always going to give them stick. They're always going to give them stick, and I think that's going to be no different with Benjamin White, because we've done it. We've done it to players who've left their clubs to better themselves. We weren't happy with Cesc Fabregas. We certainly weren't happy with Ashley Cole,
Van Persie, Adebayor. The list goes on and on. Nasri, Sagna.
And the denominator is that they left our great club to better themselves. I mean, I'm calling it our great club, but they statistically bettered themselves.
There's only a couple that haven't really got any stick. Thierry Henry was one of them, because he came back on loan, didn't he? Scored against Leeds and then got his last goal. Was it Sunderland away? Sunderland away was his last goal.
Yeah.
And what's his name? Santi Cazorla.
Yeah.
Other than that, it's everyone gets confused, don't they? It's mad. Football fans are tapped. But we are going to wrap this up, people. Liverpool are currently 0-0 with Brentford. No Ivan Toney today, but Brentford have apparently just missed a sitter as well. So I'm going to go and get that game on, and I'll be back again. About 10 o'clock tonight. Yeah, about 10 o'clock tonight. I'll drop the transfer. Well, it's me schooling an Italian journalist that's linked Saka to Juve. So make sure you tune in for that video. I've already recorded it. I've absolutely ripped this geezer to shreds because I say journalist loosely. And then tomorrow morning, 8 o'clock, I've got a video out about Joe Felix. Then I'm live with Rants. I'm on with Terry. And then it's match day, watch along fan cams and all of that. Jez, what you got coming up, mate?
Well, go to 6 o'clock or thereabouts, a podcast Wednesday. Kenny, Gracie, got a new guy, Anthony Herbert. I don't know if you're about, Lee, around on Wednesday. But we'll...
I'll have to text you, mate. I need to go through text and all of that of what I've agreed to do and not agreed to do. So let me come back to you. I'll text you in a quick... Mate, I'd forget my head if it weren't screwed on. Don't
worry. It's been a while since I've seen you. But, yeah...
What time do you want to do it?
I was thinking about 6 o'clock.
It should be cool. It should be fine. 99% yes, but I just need to double check I ain't agreed with someone else first.
No pressure if you're not there. Yeah, so that's then I'm going to have to rewrite an hour's worth of the history stuff, which I said to you guys off stream very quickly. I typed it all up, saved half of it, went and did the other half, went off to pick the grandson up, and we had a power cut. I lost the lot. So an hour's worth of work. More than an hour's worth of work, an hour's show wiped off the face of the earth. So I was going to do that tonight, but it's completely gone. So
what about you, Kenny?
Well, obviously I'm going to the game tomorrow. Jess, I'm going to do my bestest because I'm going in the office.
Don't worry, don't worry.
Normally Wednesdays at best are great because I always like to do it on Wednesday. But if not this Wednesday, next Wednesday, 100%.
No problem.
All I'm going to do is probably just watch the rest of this game, do some cooking for the family because I know, like I said, for some reason my daughter likes me cooking. I don't know why or how, how or why, but you know, it's. I'm just going to watch as much football as I can. You know, they've got obviously a bit of the Emirates tomorrow, but then you've got Crystal Palace, you know, versus Tottenham. And you've got Man City versus Chelsea. You know, I say this loosely. I know there's a lot of Chelsea fans who watch our show and Man City fans watch the show. But if Man City do what I believe they're going to do, then I think that Graham Potter is in a very precarious position. In fact, all this trust the process thing is going to go out the window because I say it categorically now, those players ain't playing for Graham Potter. Sorry, Chelsea fans. Sorry, Brighton fans. I'm sorry, Graham Potter fans, but come on. The rubbish I saw at Stamford Bridge when we played them, and the rubbish I've been watching.
Well, I watched them against Forest yesterday. They were shocking. They were shocking.
Rubbish. You know,
I'll tell you what, though, that game was more entertaining than Wolves Man United, and it was more entertaining than Spurs Villa because that game was shit as well. I'll tell you something, they're all sitting there, them Spurs fans, having a meltdown, right? And I've said this, and I know you two have different opinion. They are not our rivals. Yeah, they are not our rivals. That team will always be shit. They've won 4 trophies in my 40 years on this planet.
Lee, save it until after the derby because they always try when they play us. Remember what I told you? It's pitch perfect. They all sit.
We're going to slap them this year. They don't even know what's about to happen to them. Yeah, you've got all their fans out there having a meltdown. You've got other fans of their fan base going, "Oh, bring Poch back." Yeah, like, what's he going to do? He didn't win fuck all when he was there anyway. Like, you know what I'm saying?
There's 2 things wrong with Tottenham. One of them's called Daniel, and the other one's called Levy, and we'll leave it at that.
Well, maybe we should go and put a bid in for Harry Kane.
No,
I'll take him.
I'd take him as well.
Just for the laugh. Just because I know it'll annoy Tottenham fans.
Oh yeah, I'll take him. Just do another Sol Campbell. But listen, we are going to wrap this up, people. Make sure you smash the likes up. Go on, mate.
Yeah. Brentford are 1-0 up.
Yeah, 1-0 up. Brentford are winning. Yeah, Brentford are winning. Liverpool are not that great, are they? But anyway, it is what it is. We're out of here, people. And I'll be back again at 10 p.m. tonight, UK time, with an upload. Make sure you check that out. Laters. Adios. Ciao.
Right. Are we allowed to say